anything like that. No good. Wide right.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. He's going into the end zone. The Bears have won. The Bears have won. Oh, my God. You believe in miracles? Yes.
It's the Davey Mac Sports Program, where we talk the sports and other stuff, like Thanksgiving. Speaking of which, did you hear about the turkey that plays baseball, Dave?
No, I didn't, Robert.
He covers first based. Based, Dave. B-A-S-T-E. Based. You get it?
Yeah.
I'm Bobby Tamburo, and here's the star, the host of your program, the reason why we're all here, Eastside Dave McDonald.
It's so true. I am the actual reason why all of you are here. And I don't mean just watching the Davey Mac Sports Program or listening to the Davey Mac Sports Program as you're driving on your way to Grandma's for a nice Thanksgiving, as this is our Thanksgiving episode, technically.
Gobble-gobble.
I do want to thank Roy Harder, the evil drunken uncle of the family, for no showing today. No, we're kidding, of course. Roy is very busy with his own family, and after giving him several guilt trips via text message, things like, well, you do whatever you want, Roy. And here's one. Here's the ultimate guilt trip, like nonsense. Like, hey, you do what you think is best for you. I love it when like bosses tell you that, you know, it's like, hey, I have a problem here at work. What should you do? What you think is best for you? Okay. Not really looking, not the advice. I was kind of looking for something specific, but nevertheless, Roy Harder, he's not here, but we want to give thanks to the Roy man. Don't we, Robert? For years and years and years, Roy Harder started on this wild sports program Tango with me all the way back in 2011. If you scroll on our iTunes feed, our Spotify feed, I suppose. I mean, Spotify wasn't even around then, so I don't know. But our iTunes, if you keep scrolling, you could go all the way back to 2011, baby.
Yeah, and it just keeps getting better, so I would stay focused and listen to this.
Unbelievable. Oh, hell yeah, baby.
I would say Roy's the glue that holds us together, but he's kind of like that glitter glue because he also adds pizzazz to the show as well. You know, the kind that has
I mean, I don't know what kind of glue you're talking about. Like, if you're thinking about nitroglycerin being glue, then that's what Roy is. Yeah, I see him more as an explosive thing. An unpredictable, explosive type of material or substance rather than glue. I'm sorry.
So kind of the exact opposite of what I was saying almost.
Well, yes. I would say you would be closer to being the glue. Okay.
I'd be that really bad smelling rubber cement that you got as a kid. Like it gets the job done, but nobody wants to use it.
I'm not gonna lie. No surprise here that Davey Mac is a literal walking, talking Ramones song, as I love sniffing glue. When I was a child, I loved putting glue on my finger, letting it dry, and then eating it off. glue, Elmer's glue, if you're in for a more of a richer, deeper flavor and consistency. glue, if you're looking for something a little zest and zesty and fresh, something a little bit light, go with glue. Something, with some gravitas to it. Maybe you're hungry and, oh my God, lunch isn't for another hour and a half. I'm in phonics class. It's 10:30. Lunch is until noon. Let me put a little Elmer's on the hand and I was basically like doing rails off my hand as a child, only instead of sniffing, I would just be doing this, eating. Pour the glue on the hand, let it dry, let it crust up a little bit. Nice little taste right there with that Elmer's. Yeah. These are the things that I did.
This is big news. I didn't realize. I think now with that knowledge, you have the potential to be an Olympic athlete, Dave. We can get you a gold medal. What sport do you want to play, big guy?
I want to play them all. Davey Mac, the glue head. Hi, guys. That explains everything these last 20 years.
I'm just saying, I know one group of people known to eat paste, and they get their own Olympics, which is cool.
Listen, nevertheless, we have to start with the fact that, and by the way, I've decided to give you 3 Turkey Day memories with Dave. We're gonna call the segment Turkey Day Memories with Dave. Well, yeah, I just told you that, so that what really was. But nevertheless, that's going to be the name of the segment. I'm going to give you 3 Turkey Day memories throughout the course of the program.
How exciting.
Okay. Very exciting, right? Because this is our Thanksgiving episode. Now, I will get into at least one of those memories, but first, to borrow the hashtag from Big Brother. Okay, sorry, Julie Chen. But first, breaking news. The New York Football Giants have finally fired defensive coordinator Shane Bowen. Thank the Lord. I know. So here's the way I'm looking at it. We got rid of Daboll, and we got rid of now Shane Bowen. We got rid of 2 of the evil entities of the New York Football Giants. The third is still out there. Joe Schoen, the general manager, as we all know. Mike Kafka, the interim head coach, I'm going to get to him in a little bit. Okay, I'm going to get into the whole Mike Kafka thing because he's becoming a very interesting question for a lot of Giants fans. Mike Kafka very quickly is gaining a following here amongst the Giants fan base. Like there's Giants fans right now saying, we're all in with Mike Kafka. We like Mike Kafka. Well, here's the thing that I'll say. I'll get to some of the coaching decisions and the loss, that another terrible loss by the Giants after having a 10-point lead to the Detroit Lions yesterday. They blew it again. The defense choked again. They screwed the 10-point lead yet again. This 10-point lead was in the fourth quarter. Yet again, they let the Lions, they let the team that they're playing, the opposing team, walk down the field, kick some sort of ridiculous 59-yard field goal. The game goes into overtime. For some reason, the Giants don't have their best defensive lineman, if not their best defensive player. I was saying that, but this year, Brian Burns has really stepped up. But certainly their best defensive lineman in Dexter Lawrence, he's not there. The guy's like 400 pounds. You can't run the football on Dexter Lawrence. For some reason, he's not there in overtime to start overtime, and they hand the ball off 65 yards, touchdown. Lions win. The Giants got the ball back because of the new rules, but they, of course, after getting a couple first downs, making it interesting, they weren't able to get it done. Giants lose in overtime. The defense blows a double-digit lead for the 5th time this season. Now, here's the point that I would like to make. This was obvious last Monday. The fact that Mike Kafka didn't make this decision last Monday was worrying. What's also worrying is after the game, Kafka was asked by the press, what do you think of Shane Bowen, the Giants defensive coordinator these past 2 years, and specifically with yet another choke job that Shane Bowen was in charge of? What do you think? And you know what Kafka's answer was yesterday, Sunday, November 23rd at the press conference? Kafka's answer was, I have every confidence in Shane Bowen and his staff. So less than 24 hours later, here we are now on Monday, November 24th on the Davey Max Sports Program Thanksgiving episode, and now all of a sudden he's fired. So what that tells me is maybe this was not a call from Mike Kafka. Giants fans are immediately giving Mike Kafka the credit. Oh, look at Mike Kafka. He's putting up points and he's making decisions. He's firing people. Look at Mike Kafka. Whoa. Mike Kafka said in the press conference he has every bit of confidence in Shane Bowen and his staff. So I'm thinking this was not Mike Kafka's decision. I'm thinking this was John Mara's decision. I'm thinking the owner finally had enough. I don't even think it came from Shane. I don't even think it came from Joe Schoen. I think it came from John Mara himself. I think it came from Giants owner John Mara, who said enough. First of all, I've been an absolute disgusting pig prick on Twitter every Sunday with regards to the Giants. So I've been so evil. The FBI has put me on a list. Football
list?
terroristic fan list.
Oh, okay.
These are NFL fans who do have a problem and may have a propensity to commit some sort of Mark David Chapman type of act.
I think you're on a couple of those lists, not just football.
But the point is, this guy, Mike Kafka, all the Giants fans are giving him credit. Folks, here's what we don't want anymore. We don't want an unproven coach in that spot. Offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, college coach. We don't want it. We don't need it. First of all, Mike Kafka, yes, the offense has looked solid under Jameis Winston, and they're putting up points, but they're losing games in the same way. And here is my issue. He's another guy who can only coach offense. We just saw this with Brian Daboll. This is my point of why you shouldn't be hiring these offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators in 2025. It feels like they can only coach one side of the ball. Outside of Ben Johnson for the Bears, the great Lions offensive coordinator, who apparently has turned into a great offensive coach when Chicago, won again yesterday.
Yeah.
But this is another guy. All indicate we've seen 2 games now. Strange decisions where the Giants are up 3 points late in the game. The Lions were not really moving the ball that well. Kicked the field goal. And I said it at the time to Stanley. I did not second guess it. I first guessed it. Kick the field goal, go up 6. Of course, they were not going to get it on 4th and goal. And then, of course, the team was going to go down the field and kick a long field goal to tie it and send it into overtime. It's literally been this exact scenario has been happening to the Giants over and over for 2 seasons. Maybe even 3.
You're not that team. It's plain and simple. You're not that team. The best comment I saw was about Josh Allen, where it said he is the Kobe Bryant of Jameis Winston's. Like, he's going to take dumb sacks. He's going to make some ridiculous highlight plays. But the difference is, at the end of the day, he finds a way to win. The issue with Winston his whole career has been he doesn't find a way to get it into the end zone. It's 4th and goal. Normally, I say you don't play to lose. You play to win. You don't play not to lose. But if you're the Giants and every time you play to win, it bites you in the ass, maybe try not to lose for once.
I don't know if the NFL or college football is paying attention. Teams that are going for it on 4th down, okay, whether it's 4th and yard, 4th and goal, they're successful less than 50%. So NFL teams, college football teams, the odds are you're not going to get it.
Can I?
You have these sabermetrics guys who are like, well, this point of the game determines. Shut up. Everything is a case-by-case basis. Don't let computers and analytics dictate your strategy. That's ridiculous. You watch the football game in front of your face. And if you know what you're doing as a coach, as a general manager, as a coordinator, you make adjustments based on what you're seeing, not what your fucking iPad tells you.
Along that same lines, nothing drives me more insane than when it is 4th and 1, 4th and goal, a yard or 2, and they try to either run the ball up the middle or run a stupid little play action pass. That's why you're a coach. That's why they pay you the money, to have a play up your sleeve for that exact moment, right?
Oh, and by the way, who wanted Jameis Winston to start over Russell Wilson?
Me.
You did, and I did.
Yeah. I wanted
Jackson Dart to start. My whole thing was start with Dart. Just start the season with Jackson Dart, because I knew that this team was going nowhere. I knew it was not happening. And I hate to say it, maybe we would have gotten this concussion thing out of the way earlier, and he would have been like, okay, NFL, I can't run as if I'm, Brandon Jacobs or Christian Okoye.
Or Michael Vick.
I'm Jackson Dart. Like, chill, Anakin.
And that's why I thought Winston should start over Russell Wilson for sure, because he'll at least teach him how to slide and how to not take those hits. He's the same type of quarterback.
Jameis Winston can still throw a football. I mean, that's the bottom line. It's like, look, if you want a guy who's going to hit some incredible throws, then put him in there. And yes, he's going to throw an interception a game. I'm okay. Like I'm saying, I'll take that. I'll take an interception a game with at least having a guy who you know is also going to be able to hit a 50-yard pass, a 40-yard throw, a 25-yard throw, in the middle of the field. He can hit these throws. Russell Wilson is done.
Yeah, he's washed.
So that's the breaking news. Here's my message to John Mara. It's great that Shane Bowen has finally been fired. Okay. The fans will get off your back. But again, I don't know why the Giants are doing this in dribs and drabs. All right. Unless it's just somehow limp to the end of the season and then fire Joe Schoen. But honestly, if I'm the Giants, just do it. Just do it. Just fire Joe Schoen. Just do it.
The fact that
he's the guy who put you in this position. He's the guy who allowed Brian Daboll to go crazy on Wink Martindale. And basically, apparently, Daboll had been yelling and screaming at this Wink Martindale, this big burly grown man, and Daboll's going off on him. And he chases Wink Martindale out of there. And that's the only reason why we had this Mike Kafka disaster anyway. It's because they chased Wink Martindale out of the building after he had success and got the Giants into the playoffs 4 years ago with Daniel Jones. It's, screw Wink Martindale.
Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense. This is why Joe Schoen needs to go. He allowed that to happen. He allowed Brian Daboll to make these decisions. He signed Russell Wilson. And he was okay with Russell Wilson starting these first 3 games and looking completely inept. This game week 2, he was fine. But you know what I'm saying. Weeks 1 and 3, he was horrible.
And it's not like that came out of nowhere. Like you weren't seeing that at practice as well. You said it when you and Bo went that he didn't.
Well, that was with Daniel Jones.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I get my years confused. It all runs together.
But here's the other thing.
The other thing, no, real quick about Joe Schoen. The fact that he let Shane Bowen stick around to fuck the Giants 2 weeks in a row.
That's my point.
Any general manager their job, that alone.
Absolutely. There was no reason just to fire. If it was about looking at the coaching, then they had to fire Daboll and Bowen together. They absolutely did. They were the 2 biggest failures. Okay, I could see keeping Kafka around because the offense didn't look absolutely dreadful this year, and somebody's got to coach the team. So I could see keeping Kafka around as an interim coach.
That makes
for the Giants fans, falling in love with Mike Kafka, easy. You really want any of these people a part of the next Giants regime? I don't. We have to clean house. Okay? Look at the thumbnail of this very episode. we need superheroes dressed up in Giants outfits with mops and buckets, and we need to clean house. Nobody affiliated with this era of Giants football should be back next season. Sorry. Sometimes maybe there are innocent casualties of war, and maybe Mike Kafka is one of those guys. But folks, come on. Let's not think this guy is Vince Lombardi. He's 0-2. And the same things that happened to Brian Daboll, offense looks okay, but then the defense chokes because Brian Daboll couldn't have a complete effort. Just happened twice to Mike Kafka. So I've got zero confidence that he can do this. Zero. Giants fans can't be okay with the close losses. The close losses are what got Brian Daboll fired. There is no such thing as that was a close loss to the Lions. We should feel so good today on Monday. We lost to the Lions in overtime. It's like we won the Super Bowl. Are you kidding me? The Giants have 4 Super Bowls in franchise history. Moral victories aren't a part of their thing.
It's become a cliche about I love winning versus I hate losing. But the Giants don't hate losing. Like, and the Giants fans, if you start to accept that and say, oh, well, at least like it was a good effort, that's how you create a loser franchise with the mentality of the Browns. Now,
Agreed, Robert.
I do want to ask, you said Shane Bowen got fired. He was a defensive coordinator. Do you think something with the last name Bowen just makes you good at defense? You got Shane Bowen. You had Bruce Bowen in the NBA. You had my 7th grade teacher, Mr. Bowen, who had to defend himself against abuse allegations.
Okay. So can we just move on to what I was talking about, which is the New York Football Giants? Here's the other reports that have made me very disturbed as of late. Reports are the Giants have been completely off the rails as a franchise this entire season. We are now getting unofficial reports that there's been a players late to practices, scrimmages, meetings, film sessions for 2 years. We're getting reports that players and coaches are on drugs.
Sounds awesome.
Players and this isn't Davey Mack, the no fun guy. It's just that I don't necessarily need my coaches on mushrooms listening to Pink Floyd when they're trying to game plan for the Minnesota Vikings.
I don't know, Dave. It sounds pretty sick. You roll in 30 minutes late, smoking a J on your way to film.
I'm thinking, Robert, there's probably some of this new kratom. This new, wonder drug where it's like speed that you buy at the gas station, but it keeps you up as well, keeps you awake. So these coaches do these like 21, 22 hour long, we're going to stay up and watch, film for until 5 o'clock in the morning, but they're all zapped out of their brains.
Oh yeah. Well, what's fun about kratom is in a low dose, it acts like speed, but in a higher dose, it acts like an opioid. So all these guys are starting out fired up, but by the middle of the night, they're like, yeah, put on that Pink Floyd.
Let's listen to a little Floyd right now. Put on Animals. That's underrated. So, drugs, late, weapons. We're also hearing there's been times where players have brought weapons to the facility. So this entire organization is completely off the rails, and you're telling me that anyone should come back? Kafka gotta go. Joe Schoen got to go. I'm happy that Daboll's gone. We needed Shane Bowen to go, but I'm not necessarily keeping Kafka around. I need a new general manager, for Christ's sakes. Let's let the new general manager decide what to do, okay? I guess if the new general manager is like, listen, I will put my entire life on the fact that this Mike Kafka is going to be the next great coach ever. He is 100% guaranteed. Fine. But you know what? We need Joe Schoen to finally be terminated. All right. And we need some sanity restored to the New York Football Giants. This season, these last 2 years, it's been a bad acid trip. Like if the coaches are on drugs, maybe that's why. Because the rest of us feel like we're at Woodstock in '69 and we ate the brown acid. Okay.
I do feel like they're close. Like they almost have the right recipe, right?
Feel like they're close.
When you would back in the day when you would adjust the cable and you could kind of see it coming in, but it wasn't quite matched up. Like that could be a good recipe if guys are late because they're lifting before the meetings and they've been working out too hard because the drugs they're taking are performance enhancing drugs. That's a good like I'll take that.
No,
I'd rather have the whole team pissed hot for steroids.
No, they test for steroids. You can't have your players now getting suspended for PEDs in the NFL. This is ridiculous, Robert.
Yeah, it's so bad when players get suspended for PEDs like Von Miller. They win defensive player and they get suspended for 2 games.
Well, it depends. It depends. Certain players have gotten suspended for much longer.
Oh,
depends.
Absolutely. Ricky Williams.
Now, I asked Soro to make a couple of videos of myself depressed as a Giants fan. And I must tell you, Soro's videos hit a little too close to home for the Dave man's liking. I did say to Soro, please make them very depressing. Please make them to be Sora. I always call it Soro.
I was gonna say maybe that's why it was made the video so depressing because you called it the wrong name.
Yeah. Well, so Sora, I said,
Yeah.
can you make a video showing off my Giants fandom depression? And here's what Sora came up with.
Yes! Hotman.
Let's go! No! What are you doing?
Intercepted. That's going to seal it.
Tell me it's not gone. Tell me you can do something.
I'm sorry, sir. The account is
Empty.
because
Notice
of
of
that.
eviction.
That was way depressing. Now let's watch this next one. And this next one is pretty similar.
Dave, and the Giants ruined my life.
Final score: Cowboys 44, Giants 3, 44-3.
I lost my apartment, my friends, even the cat moved out. All because I kept believing they'd turn it around.
By the way, that location looks exactly like the location we do Modern Day Man at.
Right?
We just put we just put a Modern Day Man poster behind us, but if you took away the poster, it would look exactly like that. So it's freaking me out. What those two videos freaked me out, Sora. Thank you.
What freaked me out the most was it sounded so much like you.
Yeah,
Like the
they're
video
getting better with the
visuals
Davey
off.
Mac
Yeah,
voice.
the voice.
Yeah, they're getting better with the Dave voice.
It's gonna be bad when people make the Dave voice say bad things.
Robert, it's time for your first Turkey Day Memories with Dave entry.
Bum, 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 bum.
Robert, I remember being 6 years old and everyone going up with the plate and the people putting the food on the plate. As opposed to, usually I believe they call it family style, where, you know, they put all the dishes on the table and you just pass the dishes around.
Yeah.
This was a very unconventional Thanksgiving dinner where all the stuff was in an area of the kitchen and we all had our plates and went up single file and got the food. Buffet style rather than family style. I was 6 years old. This was at my Aunt Deli's house in South Orange. We always went to Aunt Deli and Uncle John's house in South Orange, New Jersey, Robert, for Thanksgiving. They came to our house then for Christmas. Okay.
Seems like a fair trade.
And we're there and everyone's up one by one by one. And I'm like first in line. Come in, little David. Little 6-year-old, stupid, dumb, red-headed David. Come on in. Get some food. So I got the plate. And they put a ton of turkey and a ton of potatoes and a ton of gravy and a ton of string beans and carrots. And they go, okay, now go back to your seat. And when I turned with my plate too quickly, I just, little kids are hyper and I have diagnosed ADD, ADHD. I spun like I was, I spun like, it was basically an Emmett Smith spin move here. Just boom, like nobody's tackling me. But I spun so quickly, all of the food went flying off right onto Grandma. Turkey, mashed potatoes, green beans, her beautiful white wool sweater that she bought in Ireland, Irish sweater that she actually bought in Galway, completely ruined by the Dave man. That's entry number 1 of Turkey Day Memories with Dave. Now, Robert, thoughts and opinions.
Your family, what are they doing? Let's start with the fact that I know you're not an only child. There were a bunch of boys running around that Thanksgiving.
3 older brothers. I'm son number 4.
Grandma decided to wear her nice white Irish sweater to Thanksgiving when all the rambunctious boys were there. That's on Grandma. You know what I mean? My grandparents, they would wear like painting overalls because they knew we were that messy. They weren't destroying their nice shit. Secondly, you're 6 years old. We know you have ADHD. Control the young man. Help him. He's excited. Who wouldn't be? You got all this turkey, mashed
Shouldn't have been up there.
potatoes, gravy.
Shouldn't have been up there in the first place.
Should have had somebody with you. This is not on you, Dave, man. This is a failure of the McDonald clan, not on David.
That was Thanksgiving plating neglect, because you're asking this kid to be able to turn and walk with a mountain of food on his plate, which, by the way, due to the gravy, has now become slippery.
Of course.
And I'm supposed to just somehow have the ability to keep that food from flying off. I must have had Jedi, mystical powers in order to do that.
You're 6. Why are you making your own plate? That's crazy.
So it was something, by the way, that I was mocked for many, 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 many years. Anytime the meal started, it was, remember the time when Dave was little, he turned and all the food went on grandma? I'm like, thanks for bringing that up for the 15th year in a row. Other football, Cowboys came back from down from 21 points to beat the Eagles 24-21. What happened?
What happened? Honestly,
yes.
The reason why I love football more than most sports is it's the last one where effort can still win you a game. And I think the Cowboys just wanted it a little bit more. I think it was kind of like the movie Rocky 3, where the Eagles are coming off a Super Bowl victory. They're riding a little high. They're one of the favorites going in. They've got young kids at elementary schools hitting punching bags at the Cowboys players before the game with the Eagles players, commenting on it. I think the Cowboys just came to play football. Nothing sums it up more than the effort on that punt return that turned forced fumble, where the guy got pancaked 4 times down the field, still got up and forced the fumble that ultimately sealed the game for him.
Well, I got to tell you, if you're an Eagles fan, you should be concerned. Now, having said that, you literally just won the Super Bowl. It's like I'm a hardcore sports fan, okay? When my team wins a championship, that gives me pretty much 3-4 years of being in a really good mood.
Yeah.
Then I start to Yankees a little bit quicker. Maybe 2 years.
They're 27, so you would expect it a little more often.
But I mean, the Eagles just came off a championship. I'm sure, the fans can't go too nuts, but they don't look good right now.
No, but if you remember, they did this last year too.
I know.
So
Bills lose to
nervous.
the Texans 23-19 to drop 7-4. I don't know what the hell's going on with Buffalo now. I really don't. They're totally schizophrenic. It's Harvey Two-Face from the Batman cartoon. I don't know what's going on. There are times where the Buffalo Bills look like the absolute best team in the entire NFL. And then there are weeks where you're like, I'm not sure if they're making the playoffs this year. Because the Patriots have just taken that division now once again. How unfair is that?
It's the Bills are the classic embodiment of they play to the level of the team they're playing against. Good teams, they play incredible football. Bad teams, they play really sloppy football. And say what you want about Vrabel, he plays consistently. He's got his boys playing the same every week.
They're on fire, those Patriots. They beat the Bengals 26-20. The Pats are now 10-2. What the? Bears beat the Steelers with no Aaron Rodgers to move to 8-3. Pittsburgh is 6-5. Why I'm happy about this is because Mike Tomlin checks the boxes. I need my next Giants head coach to be a former head coach in the NFL with playoff success, preferably a Super Bowl win, which is why my 3 candidates right now are Mike Tomlin, Mike McCarthy, and yes, this is going to sound crazy, John Gruden.
That doesn't sound crazy at all to me. That would be my number 1 pick if I had an opening right now.
They check the boxes. By the way, there's a clip emerging of John Gruden telling Jackson Dart, you have to stop playing the way you're playing. You're going to be in concussion protocol and missing weeks of football. John Gruden looks like a genius. He's won a championship. He's had playoff success. Probably would be a great Giants head coach. They don't want to go in that direction. Hopefully the Steelers fire Mike Tomlin or just move on after 19 seasons. with Mike Tomlin. They just move on, and then the Giants get him. But McCarthy's number 3. I want Gruden or Tomlin.
I think you're going to get Jim Tressel with Mike McDaniels as his offensive
If I get Jim
coordinator.
Tressel, I'm going to take a baseball bat to your kneecaps.
Why?
Because it's your fault. No one is talking Jim Tressel. You're the only one talking former Ohio State coach Jim Tressel.
All I'm going to ask is if you do end up with former national championship winning head coach Jim Tressel, wait till after the season to hit my kneecaps, because I think you'll be thanking me.
I don't want, at this point, 80-year-old sweater vest wearing Jim Tressel. Thank you.
His boys wouldn't be doing drugs in the locker room. They showed up on time.
Yes, because he's got him reading some Mormon scripture bullshit.
We're gonna run the power eye.
You think Cam Scatterboo would take to that type of old timey John Wooden, old man coaching style? Scatterboo might as well be a Breaking Bad character. It's like, you need a meth head coach for that guy. You need
Very
like Walter, White.
He would enjoy the fact that they use the power eye so much and hand him the fullback the football.
Packers beat the Vikings. JJ McCarthy bad again, getting destroyed. He's starting to look like he's not actually capable to play in the NFL.
Absolutely. And a lot of reports coming out about McCarthy too. The backup quarterback, a clip is resurfacing on a podcast how basically the coaches told him and the other rookie they drafted to go home because they were taking too much of the resources away from JJ McCarthy. Like, they have no backup plan whatsoever. They were all in on this kid.
Not good. Not good. He tries calling himself 9. He speaks about himself in third person like The Rock, JJ McCarthy does. And he'll be like, 9's got to do better. 9's got to do. You know what 9's got to do? 9's got to start talking about himself as 9. Because 9, saying 9's got to go out there and win games and 9's got to commit less turnovers sounds stupid, 9.
It's usually not a sign things are going well when you have two different personalities. So you could put the blame on one group, and that's never a good sign of things to come.
No. The Colts lost to the Chiefs in overtime, 23-20. It looked like the Colts were going to put the Chiefs kind of truly at, really have people start thinking that the Chiefs might miss the playoffs entirely. Had they lost, they would have been 5-6. They won. They're 6-5. And Indianapolis is now 8-3. They had a lead late too.
Yeah.
They were up. I think they were up 21-9 it was. And then they lost 24-21, I believe. No good.
Not a good sign.
The Rams crushed 23-20. The Rams crushed the Bucks 34-7. LA 9-2. And after Baker Mayfield was getting MVP talk, Tampa is suddenly 6-5. What the hell?
It's not looking good for Tampa. What's funny is the Rams have done the exact opposite of what the Bucks did. The Bucks were everybody, watch out for the Bucks. Baker Mayfield's the MVP, and the Rams have just flown under the radar. Right. And
they're looking unbelievable. Matthew Stafford is looking like the MVP, and the Rams are looking incredible 9-2.
Wouldn't it
and I will
crazy
say,
if he went out with the Super Bowl and both he and Kershaw retired with championships after starting together, going to high school and being best friends, that would be.
He's got one. He does have one.
I'm saying they both go out on top, because Kershaw won the ring this year. Stafford wins this year, retires. That'd be a pretty sweet fairy tale.
Well, I'll say this. The best thing about the Bucks is that they play in the NFC South year in, year out. That division is horrible. Falcons, Panthers, Saints, Bucks. It's year in and year out, just dreck. And Tampa, is able to make the playoffs every year at 9-8. So it looks like it's going to be another one of those years.
I call that division my pajamas because it's satin soft.
I think the NFL should almost just be like, divisions are here for aesthetic purpose. The playoff teams should be the top 8 teams in the NFC and AFC. That's it. Top 8 teams.
I agree.
Done. And if your division sucks to the point where none of your teams are in the top 8, Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Remember when Pete Carroll's Seahawks had a losing record and made the playoffs?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
And huge story, of course, was that Shedeur Sanders made his first start with the Cleveland Browns, first NFL start, and won. I happened to see the highlights, not the game, but I saw the highlights. He made a few very impressive throws, including one where he was, off to his right and on the move, threw it about 55 yards in the air. It was a very impressive throw. He actually becomes the first Cleveland Browns starter or quarterback to win his first start since 1999.
That's so
since
that's
99.
such a Brown stat. I would say it's good that he's such a mobile quarterback. I would get used to throwing on the run if you're going to continue to play for the Browns.
26 years. I believe that might have been Tim Couch who did that. You're the Browns fan. You don't know who it was?
I'm guessing it was Couch, the great Tim Couch, Hall of Fame
I thought
quarterback.
You would know.
No, the reason I like the Browns.
You're the Browns fan.
Well, here's why I like the Browns. The only time I hear about the Browns is if they win. I just assume they lose every Sunday unless I hear, did you hear about the Browns? And I go, did they win or was there a terrorist attack?
And then finally tonight, the Panthers 6-5 at San Francisco 49ers 7-4. Robert, who do you like?
I always pick against Carolina. They'll find a way to blow it.
It's amazing that Kyle Shanahan can win these games with having his whole team injured year in and year out.
Yeah.
Guys just miss so many games for this guy, and he's always able, it seems like, to get about 11 or 12 victories in the NFL every season.
It feels like he took a genie's wish where he was like, I want to be one of the best coaches of all time. They're like, all right, you will be, but you're going to be so good that you're just going to barely make the playoffs with none of your stars.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a curse. So that's your NFL football. But one last little story here with the NFL. And Robert, I am going to proceed with caution.
Got you.
On this next video. I'm going to set it up. And I'm going to set it up in a very clear fashion. And I want people to really listen to me. Tom Brady is going viral during the Eagles-Cowboys broadcast that he did yesterday for appearing to say the popular 19th century term for pants.
Oh, boy.
Knicker.
How do you spell
Knicker. As defined by Webster's Dictionary, a short, loose-fitting type of trousers gathered at the knee, also called knickerbockers. The trousers were historically worn by men for sports. So football being a sport, clearly Tom Brady harkened back to old times, to the Yule times.
Makes sense.
And he was clearly thinking about better days when he said the word knicker. But let's play it and chuckle at this 19th century buffoonery by Tom Brady.
Just blasting through Knicker. Excuse me, Landon Dickerson right there. Just blasting through Knicker. Excuse me, Landon Dickerson right there. Just blasting through Knicker.
Okay, thank you, Robert. Now, as we have played it for you and we have broken it down for you by playing it thrice, I clearly hear a man saying knicker with K. Wait, now I sound like I will get in trouble the way I said that was Knicker, ladies and gentlemen. And what laughs we should all have at bringing up that fun word from the past during a modern day broadcast, right, Robert?
Just great. Yeah. I think one thing you should be careful of when you bring up words from the past is to realize the ramifications and like the weight behind those words that you say. Like, right. I doubt Tom Brady was considering the weight of all the child unpaid labor and things that went into making those pantaloons that people would wear. You know, there's a lot of hurt behind that word, so I'd be careful using it.
True. I didn't think about that. In the 1860s, for instance, the factories had no regulation when making knickers. And, you know, knickers, caused a lot of issues, a lot of problems in those 1860s for sure.
A lot of hurt behind that.
Let's just move on from Tom Brady and why he's going viral. Okay. And don't blame us. We're the messenger. It's you people who made Tom Brady viral. You disgusting, disturbed individuals.
I like that people are angrier about this than when he kissed his son on the lips.
I know. That was weird. Robert, I was scrolling through Twitter yesterday.
As you do.
After the Knicks lost. Not a good loss. No losses or Saturday. The Knicks lost. They're 9-6. They're 6th place in the Eastern Conference. And as I'm going through Twitter, a person named Dashy, technically his name is at Dashy2. Maybe it's a female. I don't know. But at Dashy2 says, no BS, Jalen Brunson got to be one of the ugliest hoopers in the league. This is after he scored 33 points and had 11 assists and has had yet another phenomenal season. And at Dashy2 on Twitter X says, no BS. This got to be one of the ugliest hoopers in the league. Do you have a picture of Jalen Brunson?
I can pull it up for you real quick. I think we found Cat's burner Twitter, though, didn't we?
I want to know why we're judging basketball players on their looks. First of all, if you're a Knicks hater, was that your way of getting at Jalen Brunson? First of all, actually, first of all, he's a normal looking person. I don't see him as neither ugly nor attractive. I just see basic human. Like, I just see regular individual. There's really nothing. There's nothing either way. Very neutral, in my opinion. Right? Even the number 11. It's like, binary, ones and zeros. Just very neutral. Very, 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 very black and white. Very standard.
I don't know. I don't typically watch sports and go, that guy's attractive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Or, you know what? Take it up because I'm a heterosexual. I don't watch women's sports and go, God, those girls are attractive. Sure, maybe after the game, I'm like, Diana Taurasi, holla at your boy. But while I'm watching, I'm appreciating what they do on the court. Who cares what he looks like? You know who's very ugly?
This is crazy.
Dennis Rodman, the greatest rebounder of all time. Who cares what he looks like?
If it's a man, okay, that's odd behavior. If it's a female, this is the point. This is you know what this is. This is toxic femininity. Is what this is. This is catcalling.
Yeah.
This is objectification. This is looking at men as meat.
If it's a man, it just means Jalen Brunson's fucking his girlfriend. That's why he would point something like that out.
It's just
you can't out hoop him.
It was just an odd thing that I said to myself, that's really weird. The Knicks, like I said, they're 6th in the East. The Pistons are number 1 in the East. The Raptors are number 2. Cavs are number 3. Heat are number 4. Hawks are number 5 in the West. The Thunder, 17-1, are number 1 in the West. Lakers are number 2. Nuggets are 3rd. Rockets are 4th. Spurs are 5th. And Suns are 6th. And yet again, for the 3rd week in a row, as someone who has watched every ESPN program available, 0 NBA gambling scandal coverage. 0. As I told you, they would make this story disappear harder than Jimmy Hoffa. And that's exactly what has happened. There is no one talking about this story at all on ESPN. If that doesn't show you that they are the dirtiest entity in sports right now, They are not only presenting stories in a biased way, they are omitting important stories and then doing all the while pushing you to gamble on their website so that they can then take more and more money away from you. They are the most evil sports octopus on the planet. They really do need to be stopped. I'm not kidding here. If you had a Teddy Roosevelt, he would look at ESPN and say, this is a dangerous monopoly on sports, that they are controlling all of the information and now people's money. They have connected themselves into people's bank accounts. And yet, if they don't like a story, that story is not going to be up there. There's no one talking about the the NBA gambling scandal. Well, Davey Mac Sports Program will.
Absolutely.
And the bottom line is there's still a federal investigation into at least 26 NBA employees, including Hall of Famer Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat star Terry Rozier. That's still going on. And there's still an investigation trying to find out who know what and when and where and how much has Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, how much has he covered up? I'm telling you, when they find out the cover-up, in fact, happened, it's a sports Watergate, folks. Straight up. And it's all being buried by ESPN. That means ESPN is complicit in this cover-up.
1,000,000%.
Okay? Do folks understand what's happening here? The place that's supposed to be talking to us simply about sports news is actually engaging actively in covering up the biggest sports scandal going on right now. When's the last time you heard about the NBA gambling scandal on ESPN? It's been some time, hasn't it? I'm telling you, I'm aware of what's happening on ESPN. I watch all the programming to keep tabs on them. Story's gone. It's gone. Oh, speaking of ESPN, what happened to Robert? He just got up and left. It's very interesting when he does things like this. Oh, here he is. Speaking of ESPN, Kirk Herbstreit.
Oh, talk about
he is going.
Talk about the twink that was run out of town.
Kirk Herbstreit shows why I say that ESPN has a godlike complex, that one of the biggest sins of ESPN is the deadly sin of pride. Their arrogance is out of control. Okay? They really are an arrogant company, and they're, quite frankly, evil.
Yeah.
Here's Kirk Herbstreit going viral after he tore into critics, the critics that allege that he and his colleagues at ESPN favor the SEC. And the reason why ESPN is being accused of this is because they have an incredibly lucrative contract with the SEC. Okay, ESPN and SEC are linked. And we're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars with this deal between ESPN and SEC. So naturally, people say, well, there is tremendous SEC coverage, maybe too much SEC coverage. And is that because ESPN has a deal with the SEC? Very, very justifiable criticism. So, I mean, completely justifiable criticism. That's simply like pointing out, like, hey, is that a conflict of interests? Because these days, ESPN has a lot of conflict of interests. Number one being you can't be the news distributor leader, but then also be the gambling leader. Okay, can't happen. Anyway, Kirk Herbstreit says to the criticism of College Game Day, ESPN, and their relationship with SEC. These idiots say, how much do people pay you to say this bullshit? Fuck off. Those are his words. His words, not mine. He said this on the Nonstop podcast. We're talking about the sport. We're talking about what we care about. I don't give a shit about the SEC. I don't give a shit about where these teams are going to come from. He left out the word from there. How are they going
Wonder
to
what was
find
on
these
his
12
mind.
How are they going to find these 12 teams? Where are they going to split their hairs at number 11, number 12, number 13, number 14? It's fascinating to me. I get so tired of the bullshit. I just get fucking tired. These people talking about the SEC, how much they pay you. Are you kidding me? I've been here for 30 years. Close quote. Let me explain something to you, dope face. Well, this is how we've always done it. Or, well, I've been here for 30 years is never a legitimate argument as a defense of how you're doing something, right? If you work for a company and you go, hey, look, I have an idea that's going to help this company. It's going to help improve the company. You tell it to the boss and the boss goes, well, I mean, that's not how we do it. You know, this is how we do it. I mean, and you go, well, why do you do it that way? I have a way that's more efficient. And if the boss says, well, I mean, because this is how we've always done it for years, leave the company immediately. It has no chance to grow and thus it will fail.
It's a terrible situation.
It's why, not to get too sidetracked, it's why, you know, if I had ideas for certain program directors, 95.9 The Rat and Carl Kraft, I would say, hey, why don't we try this? Why don't we try that? Well, that's just not how we do it. Yeah, I know. It's called being new. It's called being innovative, right? In order to innovate, it means you're doing something that you haven't done before. So why don't we try doing this? It would actually be, I think, innovative. Yeah, but I mean, that's just not how we do it. That's not how we do things. That's just not how we do it. You know what happened to that station is completely stalled out to the point where they've now had to lay off everybody. And the company that runs that station have had to lay off 500 people. And the reason why Beasley Media, the company that had to lay off 500 people, is because they have been doing things the same way for 30 years. And when that happens, you are dooming your company. Simple as that.
Wow. I wonder what other mindsets Carl Kraft and Kirk Herbstreit might share, or what other hobbies they might have in common.
I love that whole thing of Kirk Herbstreit getting on his high horse, being like, I've been here for 30 years. So what?
Here's why they picked Kirk Herbstreit too. It's not a coincidence he's the one that went out there to address this criticism, because nobody dick rides harder for the Big Ten than Kirk Herbstreit. I remember one year Penn State was 4-6 and was playing a undefeated team from the SEC. And he was like, I like Penn State.
This is about the SEC though.
But that's why they picked Herbstreit, because if they look at his record, it doesn't look like he's pro SEC. He's the one guy at ESPN who is the opposite bias. He's the scapegoat.
He is
we'll put him out.
Ohio State player who loves himself the Big Ten. But of course, there's an SEC bias on ESPN. Yes, there is.
Do you remember
there's
when
so many ESPN games? There's so much SEC coverage. You know, on all over ESPN. Yes, there is definitely a bias. I mean, look, I have way more of a problem with College Game Day and just the schlocky, shticky bullshit that they put on their show. Who wants to see Kirk Herbstreit and Nick Saban eating chicken legs?
No one.
Every Saturday, they have a food segment. It doesn't work. It doesn't work on TV. It doesn't work on radio. It doesn't work anywhere. It's never going to work until Wonka Vision is invented. I don't want to hear or see people going, this is good. What do you think, Coach? And here's Saban. Yeah, they roll tide. Good. What do you think, McAfee? Oh, man. Oh, this is awesome. What do you think, Chris Fowler? Yeah, this is savory. Very good. What do you think, Desmond Howard? Ooh, this is nice. What do you think? Like, it's just, can we do something new? You know what new would be? for ESPN, a return to sports in a hardcore way. No food segments, no fashion segments, no BS, no personalities, and some humility. Honestly, ESPN, some humility.
The only time food's funny, we did it on the Eastside Dave show, was because there was a chance Big A and Bobo died during the hot dog eating contest, like that they choked. That's why people were laughing. It's not about, the food's so
but
good.
also contests are different. Contests are
It's a
games
point,
of
yeah.
sport. Hold on. If you're telling me that Nick Saban is going to race Chris Fowler in a barbecue chicken eating contest, I'm all in, but that's not what this is. This is just, here's the food segment. Then we have to watch them for 2 minutes picking up stuff and just moaning into a mic. I don't know if I'm watching College Game Day or some 1970s porn flick. It's just, I don't need it.
I was ready to log out. I can only imagine watching it on game day.
Robert, number two.
Wait, real quick before we move on. Speaking of the bias,
No.
and game day,
Yeah.
do you remember when Shane made the joke about the SEC paying their players to Nick Saban, and he had to go out and apologize? ESPN made him point out that it was yes, there is a clear-cut bias. Now, please, I apologize.
Yes.
Turkey number two.
ESPN is dirty. We've said it for years, and we're going to say it for years until they clean up their act. So that's all the bullshit about that kind of thing. Lane Kiffin, he has until the Egg Bowl. That is the game where Ole Miss plays Mississippi State. That's actually happening this Friday. He has apparently until after the Egg Bowl to make up a decision. Is he going to stay at Ole Miss, go to LSU, or go to Florida? Robert, if you had to predict, where is Lane Kiffin going to end up?
I think Lane Kiffin is going to end up at LSU for two reasons. One, he's a money-grubbing guy, so if they're going to give him more money, he'll take it and run. And two, LSU has made terrible decisions with their past coaching hirings. This would just fit the pattern. Lane Kiffin is a loser, was a loser, will be a loser. Florida has a sense of pride a little bit still. They haven't.
He's got Ole Miss in the college playoffs right now.
Right now. They'll get exposed.
No,
Don't worry. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose the Egg Bowl.
There is a great chance. If they don't lose that Egg Bowl, there's an excellent chance Ole Miss is in the college playoffs. This is my point. He's had his most success at Ole Miss. I don't know why he would leave, but I got to tell you, everything in my gut says he's off to Florida. Everything in my gut says he's off to Florida. And the reason why I'm going Florida over LSU is he just seems like a Florida guy. He's got the blonde hair. He, a little bit Southern. I don't know. LSU, that's New Orleans. I feel like you got to be more into voodoo to be a good LSU guy. But in Florida, he looks like a Florida guy to me.
I could definitely see that. I can't imagine not getting fired, leaving to take another job within the same conference.
Oh, yeah.
That's just asking for a problem.
Oh, it's going to happen. So in college football, my team, Notre Dame, annihilated Syracuse 70-7. Ohio State still number one. They destroyed Rutgers 42-9. Oregon beat USC, and then Lincoln Riley got mad. Speaking of College Game Day, some kid's like, hey, this kid actually asked this question. He goes, hey, there was a sign. This is after USC lost. So the coach, Lincoln Riley, is going to be in a pissed off mood.
Yeah.
And the kid goes, on College Game Day today, there was a sign that says you lack character and personality. What do you think about that? and I have to say, this Lincoln Riley bit this kid's head off. He goes, that's the stupidest question I've ever been asked as a football coach. And I've been asked many stupid questions. That's the stupidest. And I have to say, I'm kind of with the coach. Your whole question, you're basing your question off of a sign you saw when College Game Day headed to the commercial break. Do you realize, as a journalist, this isn't the great starting off point for your journalistic adventure, for your premise and your thesis? It should be something a little bit deeper than I was watching TV and saw a sign during commercial break.
Yeah, just pretend like you came up with the idea yourself. Lincoln, you've been accused of lacking character. What do you have to say about that? Boom.
Yeah.
Great question. That's so funny.
Yeah. So everyone got on Lincoln Riley's case, and I'm like, I was ready to get on his case, and then I saw the question, and I go, that was a pretty stupid question. He's right.
Yeah, not a good.
Turkey Day memories with Dave. Number 2. My second entry. At Aunt Deli's house, they had a dog named Ben. He was a very scary dog. What kind of breed is Cujo?
I don't even know. I'll take a look.
Well, he looked like that to me. Now, having said that, again, I was influenced by, the books that were in the family library. We have a family library, and there was a lot of Stephen King. And I remember seeing the cover of Cujo and thinking, that's Cujo is a Saint Bernard? Wow. I would have thought like Cujo was like,
I forgot you could see my other screen. I was like, how did Dave just telepathically figure that out?
Oh, yeah, I saw your other screen. It says Cujo is a Saint Bernard. And I'm actually deeply shocked at that because I thought Cujo was like this black evil dog with red eyes. At least on the cover of the book, that's what it looked like. It didn't look like a Saint Bernard. Isn't Saint Bernard the one with the little barrel of booze around his...
Yeah, man, I'm going to be honest. Dogs are my one area I'm not very knowledgeable at all. I like cats because you're like, that's an orange one. That's a black one. That's how you identify cats. They don't have breeds.
Well, anyway, I'm there at Aunt Deli's house, and we're outside, and they're playing fetch with Ben. They're throwing a stick to him, and then all of a sudden, Ben didn't decide to fetch the stick. He wanted to fetch my eye. He literally jumped on my eye with both paws, nearly clawed my eye out, and even was about to eat my face. And then they said, no, Ben, get off of him. I was very young. I'm thinking even younger than the food incident, maybe 5. And I have been terrified by dark dogs since. I'm a big dog fan.
With Tom Brady,
but I don't like them to be dark. We're not going in any kind of direction here.
No,
I'm just saying that this dog was black, and it scared me and nearly clawed and ate my face. And sometimes, every once in a while, dark dogs give me pause.
Yeah, I, as a kid, had several bad interactions with dogs. One was a big black dog that bit me, so they terrify me. One was a little bulldog, but I was a little kid too, so those terrify me for some reason. Just not a dog fan in general.
I love dogs.
I mean,
thankfully,
I've met your dogs. They're great.
Well, thankfully, I grew up with dogs, so this dog incident didn't scar me for life. I still love dogs, but I'm just saying that every once in a while, if it's like a black dog, I'll just look at it, make sure, let's look at the eyes, make sure the eyes aren't evil. If the eyes aren't evil, hugs and kisses.
That makes
but
sense.
I do have to look at the eyes very carefully because this dog had evil eyes and then he nearly clawed my face. So that's the second entry of Turkey Day memories with Dave.
Aw.
Yeah, I mean, now that I'm doing these out loud, they're kind of depressing me.
Yeah, they are not the nicest memories, but it's good that
Did
you
have
a
any
family to
good
be
memories? Anything good happened to you? Anything good? Anything notable?
We had something similar. My family would very competitive, and we would play the game catchphrase. where you have a frisbee looking object and you have to get your team to guess the word without saying it. Then you pass it to the next person who's on the other team. And when the timer goes out, whoever's holding it loses.
Oh, I like it.
My cousin's very competitive. And for this story, it's important to note she's about 5 years older than me, maybe 8, somewhere in that range. Would not take the disc when it was her turn, so it would be stuck in your hand. And there was a whole contested thing. You didn't take it. You didn't hand it right, Bobby. So the next round, when we were in a similar position, I, much like a frisbee, whipped it into her face. And she had a very similar situation to you with your eye, where she was bleeding. And it was like, well, then next time you take the catchphrase. And now we aren't allowed to play games at family gatherings. The worst.
I do have another one. I can give you another Turkey Day with Turkey Day memories with Dave.
Please.
Okay. This is the time where we were playing football in the backyard.
I've got one too.
And yeah, the teams were always me, I believe my brother, Patrick, and then my dad versus my mom, Beanie Mac, versus her, Wally, my brother Wally, and my brother Mark. All right, those are the 3 teams. Pretty even teams. Because I was the youngest, so I sort of lined up with her, my dad, Mark a little bit, and Wally and Patrick, because they were a year apart as siblings. They have a great play. My brother was a cross-country and outdoor track legend in Mark McDonald. New Jersey, in fact, record holder for many years. They hand him the ball, right? And of course, we're all thinking run play. Beanie Mac, my mom, goes out. Yeah. He hits her with a perfect throw.
Wow.
She's wide open. She catches it. Boom. And she takes off for the end zone. And she's running hard. Meanwhile, I was pretty much below the line of scrimmage because I was trying to stop the run play. I was convinced Mark was going to get it. I bolted. She's at the 50. She's at the 40. She's at the 30. But I'm closing. And then boom, right around the 5-yard line, I Superman dive.
Make the play.
It was 2-hand touch. It wasn't tackle, but it was a Superman dive in order to get both hands on her before she went into the end zone. The dive was because the dive was done out of desperation. That's all. It was done out of athletic desperation. I had to dive in order to get her with 2 hands before she went into the end zone. But unfortunately, I was around 12 at this moment. 12-year-old Davey Mack didn't realize, I guess, how strong he was. My 2-handed dive had the effect of Lawrence Taylor breaking Joe Theismann's leg on Monday Night Football. She flew into the bushes and then broke her thumb. And this all happened on Thanksgiving. And it was 100% my fault.
Did she score?
Another Turkey Day memories with Dave.
Did she score?
No, I prevented the touchdown.
That's
Unfortunately, I also prevented the ending of the game because the game was called off as she had to be driven to the hospital.
I'm sorry, Dave. What's sad is if you had played for Sean Payton, you would have made $1,000 for that.
Yeah. Also, we were winning 21-14. And they called off the game, so I kind of see us as the champions that day.
That's how I'd look at it.
That's Turkey Day 1989. That is the way I see it. Sorry. All right. Robert, one final story here. It is Thanksgiving in a few days, and always a nice time for family and friends and retrospection. And sometimes you even get in that nostalgic frame of mind. Well, I'm in a nostalgic frame of mind due to the holidays and thinking about my favorite baseball player of all time, Don Mattingly of the New York Yankees. He is one of 8 players right now on the 2026 Contemporary Baseball Era ballot for consideration of the Baseball Hall of Fame. So, if you don't get voted in, you're not always 100% done if you don't get the 75% vote. That's the deal. 75% to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Although I did think they were going to change it to 70% at one point. I forget if they did that or not. It used to be 75%. The point being, if you don't get that after like 15 years, they take you off the ballot, but doesn't mean you're ineligible. It means then after a certain amount of time, you can become eligible on the Veterans Committee, which is basically what this is. Mattingly is one of 8 players alongside Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Carlos Delgado, Jeff Kent, Dale Murphy, Gary Sheffield, and Fernando Valenzuela. Now, here's the deal. Look, Bonds, Clemens, that's going to be really interesting because we're talking about these are going to be Hall of Fame players voting on this, not writers. Baseball Hall of Fame, usually, with the other way, it's the writers. This is the Baseball Hall of Fame players voting on this. And I have a feeling like they might put Bonds and Clemens in there.
I'll take it a step further. They should. Baseball is one of the few sports that encourages cheating. Part of the gamesmanship of baseball is trying to find a competitive edge over the teams you're playing outside of the physical game, right? Whether it be the spitball, the sticky stuff, stealing signs, banging on trash cans. Like, honestly, and I know this is not the mainstream take, but steroids is just the next evolution of that. Like, it's the same thing as putting a little extra pine tar on your bat, just the science evolved. You know what I mean? These guys were just cheating it the same way everybody else was, and they were the best to do it in their time.
Yeah, I've got no issues with any of the steroid guys going in. None. I would throw A-Rod in there. Sheffield was also had that speculation. Yeah. I think maybe a little bit of Delgado and Kent. I mean, A-Rod, he should probably be in there. But as far as Mattingly goes, I feel like this could be very good for Don Mattingly that he's with the steroid guys, and they might say, okay, let's put a couple of clean guys in through the Veterans Committee, and then the next time the Veterans Committee reconvenes, that's when we put in the steroid guys. So in other words, maybe Mattingly, Fernando Valenzuela, and Dale Murphy get in. Mattingly won an MVP, folks. Okay. Career average, I think is 307. Don't, 100% hold me up to that, but I believe 307 MVP in 1985 batting titles, for a good from 1984 to 1989, best player in baseball. 5 years, 6 seasons. Don Mattingly was the best player in baseball. 9 gold gloves, and his numbers are almost exact to Kirby Puckett. Just go to Baseball Reference and look up Don Mattingly and look up Kirby Puckett, and you're going to see the same numbers. Kirby Puckett's in the Hall of Fame. Mattingly isn't. Now's the time to correct that. And you know what? That would feel good around. And by the way, announcements are being made. The announcement of who's getting in, who gets voted in, December 7th.
Wow.
So, it would be great because you know why? The Yankees under Hal Steinbrenner and Brian Cashman, they're going to give us no joy for the rest of our lives. I'm convinced of it. I'm convinced we'll never have joy until Cashman is gone. I really am. So I can't actually count on the actual New York Yankees to give me joy, but one of my childhood Yankees getting in the Hall of Fame would give me great joy. Great joy. So I am saying a Thanksgiving prayer to Don Mattingly, Donnie Baseball. Donnie, please get into the Hall of Fame. And everyone in Cooperstown, all the gods of baseball, please induct him. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Amen.
We need this. Us poor downtrodden Yankee fans
who have suffered so much.
We want this one. All right? Give Mattingly, especially that he was on the top steps after Game 7 when he was he's the bench coach of the Blue Jays and they blow it to the Dodgers. It's another Mattingly curse moment. And we have to watch that. Please. I don't want poor Don Mattingly jumping off the Empire State Building. Just get him into the Hall of Fame just to prevent some sort of very sad, tragic ending to Don Mattingly's life. Okay?
And honestly, who's given back more to professional baseball than Mattingly?
At this point, he's a
would get him in, but he's dedicated his whole life to it.
He's a certifiable lifer now.
Yeah.
Like his he started first real seasons around 83. So and he's been coaching, since he retired. So it's a good 43 years of Mattingly in Major League Baseball. Yes. He's earned this. Jeez, Joe Torre had his moment.
Yeah.
He had been in baseball forever, and then he finally got to the World Series in '96, and he won it, and everyone felt good about it. Mattingly's he's putting in just as much time, if not maybe an extra couple years than Torre.
I'm with you 100%. I would vote for him. I'd like it.
Thank you, Robert. That makes you a good person. Now it's time to go.
Wait, I got one last hot conspiracy, Dave. And
Please.
we like to be at the front of everything, so I want to get this out before everybody else does. Klay Thompson, former Golden State Warrior, currently plays for the Mavericks. A bit at the end of his career. He's not the hot focal point he used to be. Has been in a significantly higher number of scuffles this season than at any other point in his career. And I've got speculation as to why. He plays for the Mavericks. It's not tightly contested game. You know what I mean? It's not chippy. They're not a chippy team. At the beginning of the season, it came out that Klay Thompson is dating none other than Megan Thee Stallion, the rapper.
Oh,
who used to have songs and would always flirt with all the NBA players. So the word on the street is all these guys are mad he's dating Megan Thee Stallion, and that's why he's getting into it. Ja Morant, last night it happened. They were getting chippy. Ja wasn't even playing and went after him after the game. So keep a lookout.
I saw that.
Klay, keep your hands up. I love you, buddy.
I saw Ja Morant getting into some words with Klay Thompson. I thought that was a little ridiculous because Ja Morant's the last person who needs any more controversy on or off the court. The guy could just, it would really be good if he could just have one season where he didn't screw shit up. Just one season.
How about win a championship and then run your mouth?
Yeah, I mean, Ja Morant, totally overrated anyway. All right, that'll do it. Robert, Thanksgiving plans? Anything?
I have a big show the night before to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network, and then the family's coming to town, so it'll be a lot of fun.
Excellent. Well, look, me as well. Going to enjoy the Thanksgiving, and we want you to all enjoy your Thanksgiving as well. And thank you so much for the support of the Davey Max Sports program throughout the years. Roy Harder will be back next week for Bobby Tamburo. Roy Harder, my name is Eastside Dave McDonald. Good night, everybody, and happy Thanksgiving.